Well, 20 years ago, Kevin Costner and Whitney Houston's on-screen chemistry made The Bodyguard an international blockbuster, and their relationship continued long after the camera stopped rolling. Tonight, I sat down with Costner, who opened up about their special bond.
20 years since the release of The Bodyguard.
You don't look like a bodyguard.
This is my disguise. When I saw this movie, Bodyguard, I really felt like she was the one.
It was November of 1992. Whitney Houston made her acting debut, and it launched her into superstardom. Behind the scenes, an unlikely friendship with Kevin Costner began.
Can you tell me a little bit about how you met her?
Well, I saw her like every red-blooded male would see her. I thought she was really pretty, and she was very statuesque, and when she put on a big old white gown, you know how she would look. She was a skinny little girl with a big engine, could really, and she was pretty, and probably said that 3 times, she's pretty.
But for Costner, she was more than just a pretty face. He had found his lead, and he waited for her.
Well, I wanted her to be the lead in our movie. And we, again, you know, I think based, you know, even on the story I told me in the church, I said, you know, we waited a year for her. I just thought she was that right.
Did you all talk about music? Like, did you discuss how you used to sing in the choir?
We talked about the church a little bit. There's a lot of people that she touched in their lives.
The bond for these two ran deep. Church is where it started for both stars, and in the end, brought them back together.
I held her hand and told her that she looked beautiful.
Costner spoke at Houston's funeral back in February.
The world has its view of who was close to her, and I was her bodyguard in a movie. So there was this weird kind of drumbeat for me to say something that I didn't feel exactly qualified to.
Ultimately, it was a personal call from Whitney's family that convinced Costner it was the right thing to do.
So I talked about what we had in common, which I think when people look at us on paper, they don't think we have a thing in common. It was a story of us.
Born and raised in Southern California, Costner played piano and sang in his choir. The acting bug hit while attending Cal State Fullerton.
I don't come to anything, whether it's acting or music, with a lot of angst. You know, a lot of actors have that. You know, they out of pain, they're able to write. Out of pain, they're able to act or able to emote or things like that. And I kind of really had a pretty huckleberry thin life.
But it was a chance meeting with Richard Burton that changed everything.
I was on my honeymoon, coming back from Puerto Vallarta, and he'd gotten on the plane and actually bought the 4 or 5 seats around him so that no one could sit there, and they went and sat him on the plane first. So I was kind of just looking at this kind of level of treatment, and when success came to me, I was about the next thing, and then moved towards directing and stuff like that.
Directing paid off. Honored with 2 Academy Awards for Dances with Wolves, everything Costner touched turned into Hollywood gold.
So when did it end?
Taking home an Emmy in September for his most recent project,
And fire!
Hatfields and McCoys.
We saw how raw it was, how tough it was on women, and they don't fare well. And I don't think we sugarcoat that. And on some level, it's hard to look at your fellow sisters, so to speak. You go, it wasn't easy on them. It wasn't easy on them as these men just took a toll on everything. You know, the women that brought these men into the world, and some of our songs actually deal with that.
That's right, songs.
And I don't know how we got here.
His band, Kevin Costner and Modern West, started in 2007, and in 5 short years has shot to the top of the country music charts, scoring the behind the scenes and making of Hatfields and McCoys.
I just decided we would make a concept record of my feelings of going to work every day. And one night before, you know, going out on stage, Teddy and I broke into an impromptu song that ultimately became I Know These Hills.
I know these hills.
These people live and die there, and they know when there's going to be a bloodletting. It's in the air.
Songs all with a story just like Kevin Costner's and his friendship with Whitney Houston.
Well, you have to have a movement in your life that has relevance, and I think if you do it properly, it will have value to a lot of people.
Kevin Costner has 2 movies coming out next year, Man of Steel, in which he plays Superman's dad, and he's currently filming Jack Ryan in London.
Breaking news in the Sepulveda Pass.